If you're in San Jose, Los Gatos, Saratoga, Campbell, Monte Sereno, or anywhere in Silicon Valley, and you're wondering, should I sell my house now or wait? You're not alone. You're probably hoping for a quick yes or no. I'll be honest with you. When you work with me, there's never a quick answer to that question. Why? Because my job isn't just to sell your house. It's to make sure that you walk away with as much money as possible from the sale, and most importantly, you land exactly where you want to be in your next home. So if you want a one-size-fits-all answer, this isn't the video. But if you want to understand what's really happening right now with pricing, with competition, with demand, and what buyers are actually doing out there, then stay with me. If we're meeting for the first time, I'm Tracy. I've been selling here in Silicon Valley for more than 20 years. Welcome to Tracy Pina Real Estate, where I share my hard-won real estate knowledge that no other agent is willing to share. I work primarily with tech-savvy sellers and buyers in the $1.2 to $6 million price range. And in this video, I'll walk you through the 3 questions I use with my clients to decide sell now or wait. Plus, I'll share with you what I'm seeing on the ground here in Silicon Valley in the luxury and the move-up markets. And lastly, who I think should absolutely not wait for interest rates to drop. And by the way, if your entire strategy is wait until rates drop, you need a new agent. Okay, so let's dive into what's happening right now in Silicon Valley in terms of inventory, pricing, buyer behavior, offer structures, and rates. Let's start with inventory. The amount of homes sold so far this year is steady and only slightly down when you compare it to our past few years. Where we are up a bit is the number of listings, but we're not talking dramatic numbers here. This May, there were a total of 574 single-family home, townhome condos for sale. Last May, there were 512. The year before that, in 2024, there were 378. So yeah, up a bit. And for reference, for your knowledge, I'm looking at stats for a combined area of Willow Glen, Campbell, Los Gatos, Monte Sereno, Saratoga, and Sunnyvale. For perspective, summer of 2019, the high was 616. 2016, the high was 628. And then if you want the worst of times in our, let's just say, recent history, the high was more than 1,500 homes, condos, and townhomes in 2008. Okay, so enough of that. What you need to know, if you are a seller, your place may not sell in 7 days, but it might too, because everything is hyper local right now. Certain pockets, certain homes are moving quick. In fact, one of the strongest markets is the high end. And when I say high end, I'm talking above 5 million. The softest market is anything entry point. Think budget conscious buyers. Entry point for every area in Silicon Valley is different. It can be 3 million, it can be 1.2 million, it can be 700,000. So think about entry point for your market. Strategy is more important than ever right now. And then that leads us into pricing. We're down roughly 15% from the absolute peak sales price in many of our Bay Area microclimates. That does not mean the sky is falling. It just means we're not in the 2021-2022 frenzy anymore. 15% is really not that big of a deal. So get this, I think this stat is fascinating, and it really will put into perspective the fact that where we live is an anomaly, and you cannot get caught up in what you're hearing on a national level. So the average sell price, and again, for reference, I'm looking at single family home, condos, townhomes in Willow Glen, Campbell, Los Gatos, Monte Sereno, Saratoga, and Sunnyvale. So the average price for the month of April 2026 was $2,542,908. And the average sale price for the month of April 2025 was $2,542,845. $63. And that's up. We're up $63 year over year. So, okay, yes, people in Saratoga, you can call me and say that can't be true because my neighborhood average value is way above 2.5 million and my neighbor just sold for way under their list price. Yes, you are right. I'm right too. The stats are correct. We're all right. We have crazy microclimates right now. That's what happens when the market slows down and takes a breath. Buyer mentality, it shifts. which segues us right into current buyer demand and buyer behavior. Buyers are pickier. They're more focused on move-in ready, and they're very sensitive to problem homes. And when I say problem homes, that includes your neighbor 4 houses down, and it includes the apartment complex 1 block away, and it also includes your 2002 kitchen. But these same buyers are still writing strong offers in order to get the right home. You cannot compare your home to neighbor Bob's unless it is the exact twin down to the health of the plants in the backyard. Every little detail matters right now. This is why discount brokers go belly up in regulated markets, because they're not detail oriented. They don't need to be when it's a mad dash to get a home before you get priced out. But in these markets, you need a strategy, you need good counsel. You also need good counsel because we're seeing more offers with contingencies, more negotiation on terms, and more creativity with things like concessions, credits, rent backs, and closing timelines to make moves actually work for people instead of people making things work for the move. And now let's touch on rates. Rates are higher than they were a few years ago, but lower than they were a year ago. There is no reason to believe that there will be any meaningful drop in rates in the foreseeable future. Do I need to repeat that? There is no reason to believe that there will be any meaningful drop in rates for the foreseeable future. Our new Fed chair, he does not care about mortgage rates. He cares about inflation. Lower mortgage rates drive inflation. So that ship sailed. Get used to these rates. And by the way, the average rate over the last 50 years is 7.5%. We are below that average. But if a buyer writes you an offer after you've been on the market for 30 days or more, and they're asking for you to buy down their rate, you should consider it. And then ask the seller of the home you want to buy as your next purchase to do the same. Pretty simple. If your plan is to sell once rates come down, you may be waiting on something that isn't coming anytime soon, which means you're putting your life, the way you live day in and day out, on hold. Just be okay with that or not. With all of that in mind, how do you know if you personally should move right now or sit tight and be on hold for your foreseeable future? So let's walk through 3 questions I use with every seller. Okay, question number 1 is, are you moving because you want to or because you have to? There's a big difference between I'm curious what I could get and we just had our 3rd baby and we are bursting at the seams in our 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo. Wouldn't you agree? These are lifestyle triggers. Growing family, a need or a strong desire for new schools, empty nesters, or a desire to simplify and downsize the house, the yard, the financial spend every month. How about commute? A common one I hear, I'm not seeing my kids. I get home at their bedtime and I leave before they're awake. I've got to find a home much closer to my job. So my real answer for these, sell. Let's get you moved. Let's get you back to enjoying life, because otherwise, what is the point? Real estate should support your life, not the other way around. Question 2, can you actually get where you want to go? You don't just sell a home in Silicon Valley. You also have to buy the next one or decide to rent, not a good idea, relocate, okay, or invest differently. We have the move up scenario. Yes, you might not get the price you could have gotten 3 years ago, but you're also buying your move up home at that same discount. And then there's the move down right size scenario. It's the same thing on the downsize. You're trading into something that's also off of its peak. So it's apples to apples, but not always, right? So this is why there's no quick answer from me. I will always want to make sure you can actually land in the home, the neighborhood, and the payment that is actually right for you. I never want you to sell just for the sake of selling, no matter what market we are in. Okay, so question number 3, what does your specific micro market look like? Because let's face it, Silicon Valley is not one market, right? Evergreen is not the same as Willow Glen, which is not the same as Almaden Valley, which is not the same as West San Jose. It may all be San Jose to someone who just moved here, but to you, who's worked here, who's dined here, who's commuted here, these are all vastly different neighborhoods. Los Gatos and Montecito, they're not even one market. You have view homes versus walk to town versus downtown versus mountains, all very, very different price points, all very different vibes, and all very different drives to wherever you work in Silicon Valley. Saratoga, same thing. Different schools, different districts, different vibes, vastly different price points. And then there's Campbell, where more and more new construction is popping up and attracting buyers with its large lots and large homes. With all the modern amenities buyers are craving. It's reminiscent to me like the boom Willow Glen went through about 10 to 15 years ago with a burst of new construction. Literally, pockets matter. A well-presented home at the right price can still see multiple strong offers. And overpricing by even 3 to 5% can put you in the position of chasing the market down. So be careful. Okay, so that's your question 3. What does your specific micro market look like? Once we answer those 3 questions together, the should I sell now or wait decision usually becomes very clear. And it's different. It's different for every single client. So what's my honest take? So now you've heard the framework. Let me just tell you what I'm actually telling my own clients behind closed doors right now. This is the part most agents won't say out loud, but I'd rather just give it to you straight. Here's what I'm telling my clients one-on-one right now. If we're talking about your primary residence, if it is truly the right time for a lifestyle change, you're upsizing, you're downsizing, you're changing schools, you're relocating, or you're just done with how your current home or neighborhood feels, then yes, it's absolutely the right time to sell now. Because yes, the market is down in some cases about 15% from the absolute peak, which means you will not get the number you might have gotten 3 years ago. But you're also buying your next home at that same discount. If you wait for the perfect interest rate or the perfect price, you may wait yourself right out of the lifestyle change you actually wanted to make. On the other hand, if we're talking about a true investment property and it's performing, my advice is different. Rents in the Bay Area have a long-term upward trend. And if you're locked in at a good or even great mortgage rate, it will be very hard to replace that asset today. So if you own a solid rental with a strong tenant and a low rate, my default is hold it. So my bottom line is this: sell if it's the right time for your life, hold if it's just about chasing a number. And of course, all of this is still pretty high level. It doesn't answer the real question you probably have, which is, okay, but what about my situation? Well, that's exactly what I'm here for. I offer a one-on-one sell now or wait planning session where we look at your home, your numbers, your next move goals, and your timeline, and we build together an actual plan. There's no pressure to list, no obligation. You walk away knowing what your home would likely sell for today, what your net takeaway would look like, and what options you have for your next home. If you're in San Jose, Los Gatos, Saratoga, Campbell, Montecito, or anywhere in the Bay Area, and you'd like that clarity, there is a link below to grab a time with me. And if you're still on the fence, make sure to watch my next video, How Much Is My House Really Worth in Silicon Valley Right Now? Because once you understand your true value today, the sell now or wait decision gets a whole lot easier. I'll see you soon.